If you are writing in class and you find that your students are struggling with the reasoning or the analysis in their writing or even in their discussion and conversations, let me show you a scaffold I do to break it apart for kids when we first get started in the year. So I use this organizer here, which is simply claim plus evidence equals reasoning. I try and break it apart kind of like into a very simple math equation. So in the reasoning, you do need to bring in your new ideas, but that's a more advanced stage. Just for the beginner stage, let's connect these two ideas here in order to get our reasoning. So for the first day, I provide students with a claim, with evidence, and they create the reasoning. I probably have to do this 3 or 4 days where these two boxes are filled out and all they are doing is the reasoning. I find this is where students are weakest, so this is where I want to spend their energy or their time. Next, I might give them evidence and reasoning and have them come up with a claim, but that's later on. To scaffold this further, I might even underline the most important parts that I want students to include in their reasoning. So an additional scaffold would be like, how can you put these ideas that are underlined now together into your reasoning? The hardest part for students here is to figure out what might not be included that I would need to add to reasoning. So my most basic response is going to say, this shows that Goha is a trickster because he pretends to be dead. He pretends to be dead, which is funny, but also shows how stubbornness can get out of hand. That's my most basic reasoning. But then some students will be able to go, this shows that Goha is a trickster. A trickster is someone who is, so that's how we might develop this further. And I might add that to a student sheet. What is a trickster? So once they can get the most basic reasoning, they can put these ideas together, I'll extend it a little further. Well, we need to know what a trickster is in order to say whether he is one. So this shows that Goha is a trickster. A trickster is someone who makes a prank that is funny, but in the end also teaches a lesson. Then it would connect Goha pretends to be dead, which is funny, but also shows us a lesson of how stubbornness can get out of hand. And if they can get that, then we go one step further into the trickster definition and making a larger, more detailed connection. So if your students are having a hard time with claim, evidence, reasoning, or claim, evidence, analysis, whatever you call it, again, this will really help with the body paragraph because essentially your claim might be your topic sentence, your evidence and your analysis or your reasoning. This helps to break it apart for me and my students, and I've had some success with it. And so as I walk out of the building for the day, just one extra note that if you can get kids to strengthen their reasoning, that's not only going to help them in their academic writing, but it's also going to help their classroom discussions get stronger if they know they have to state a claim and then back it up and then also reason it out. You're going to have stronger discussions as well as student writing. So break it apart, practice a lot with a lot of different topics.